So today's agenda is databases creation, creating tables, inserting tables, altering tables, and updating the tables, deleting the data from the tables, and dropping tables and truncate the tables. Okay, so these are the concepts today we are going to discuss. First, I hope that you are all aware of that. What is database? What are the tables? Right? So I'm not going to explain those things again and again. So we'll see how it works, how we can handle those things in SQL Workbench. Let me create one demo database. So this is a syntax for the for creating the database. Create database and database name we need to provide. So for now I'm providing create demo database. Okay. So see here. If the query is successful, if the query execution is successful, it is going to give the green color. Else, it is going to give uh, red color with the cross symbol. Okay, and here you can see the error code as well. This is the error code. This is the error code. If you have any error in execution, so it will show you the error code and with the some errors, like it will show you like no database is selected. Select the default database, default DB to use by double clicking on the. So like this, it will show. Okay. So here we have successfully created one database demo. We'll create one more database demo. Sorry. So we'll create one more database. So the query execution is successful. So we'll see the uh, green status. Okay, this is what. So if you want to drop the database, simply drop database and database name we need to provide. So see here, the database is dropped. So how can we ensure that? So if you run this command, show show databases is the command which is used to list the databases.
Sir, drop is used to drop the database as well as tables, sir. Both
Yeah,
we can do.
yes, exactly. So if you drop the database, the table's entire data is going to be dropped. Nothing is going to be.
Suppose one doubt, sir. We have created one database and we have done the commit button. So it
Mhm.
is saved. So
Yes.
those also we can use a drop command and we can delete. Sir.
Yeah, we can delete. I mean, whenever you perform the drop command, it is going to be executed and it will delete all the things, even though you have saved the database, even though you have saved that, it is going to be
Committed.
delete. I mean, even though you committed that, it is going to be deleted. Why? Because we for suppose if the user what who are the for suppose you are the admin and you give me the admin credentials to me. Okay, so you give the full permissions on this particular database. For suppose I can go ahead and I can delete the database at the I can drop the database at that time. What are the tables which are present in that particular database? It is going to be deleted. Even though you have committed that, it is going to be deleted.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. So see here, we have created the database called demo, but when I listed the databases, demo is not there. This how, and we'll go and execute. We'll drop database like one more database called students. So students, you can able to see here, right? Students database. So we'll drop the students database also. So the database is also dropped. We'll run the database. We'll run the show databases command. So in the show databases command, no demo database and student database. Okay, this how we can create the database, drop the database, and list the databases. Any doubt till here?
No, sir.
Yeah. Let's move ahead. Let's go ahead. Mm, Next, let me take. I have prepared some notes for you guys. Let me run this command. So I want to create a table. So here, see, I'm creating a table called customers. So in this customers, I have defined person person ID as integer and last name varchar and first name varchar, address varchar, city varchar. Like I'm giving the length as 255 characters. Okay. Uh, this is the syntax. I think you have already covered the data types, right?
Sir, if we give where as 10 and if we are entering 11th character, it will show an error or it will not be, we can't even type that.
Let's check that practically. Okay, I'm not going to explain that. Just I will show you how it's going to be. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hope you are all aware of that, right? What are the data types? And one more important thing, like what is the difference between the varchar and the char? Where we need to use char, where we need to use varchar. You have any idea?
Char means we have limited length from this byte to this byte and we can't use any numbers.
Mhm.
Varchar means we can use numeric also in that and we'll have the number of bytes to be stored is more.
Not exactly.
And
And in
That
char,
it's related to the space allocated to the
yeah, exactly.
database.
Yes, yes,
The,
you are
if the
correct.
type is varchar means it varies. Character is for fixed length.
Hmm. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So you are correct.
If you mention the care as a length of one, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So let me explain again. Like for suppose, I will show you. So if we use char, we have given 10 characters length. So we have filled 5 characters. Remaining 5 characters will be spaces. If we fill the particular column with 5 characters, but the length is given like 10 characters, then 5 more characters need to be filled, right? So those characters by default is going to be filled with spaces, empty spaces, 5 empty spaces. That is how it is going to be executed. If we check varchar, we have given 10 characters, but will be given 5 characters. Then what happens? Remaining 5 characters. So this varchar is not going to be fill any characters, like it is not going to fill up with empty spaces. Whatever the number of characters we have given, that characters only it is going to be taken. There is a main difference, and please remember this. It might comes up in interviews as well. Okay, that is a difference between varchar and the char, and remaining the functionality is same. So here, if you see the syntax of this particular table, I'm creating the table, creating table, create table, table name we need to provide in the braces, column, column name, data type, column name, data type, column name, data type, like this we need to provide. And finally, we need to close the braces. Okay, here I have given the person ID as an integer, last name as a varchar, first name as a varchar, and address varchar, and city varchar. I'm not going to use any table constant here. So though you are, Nagaman explained all the table constant, so I'm not going to use those things. But today I will give one assignment to you. So you need to use those table constants and you need to work on this. So let's try to execute this command. So see here, the query execution is failed. Why? Why the query execution is failed? See,
We did not select any database.
yeah, exactly. So see here, no database is selected. So how can we select the database? We have created databases, but when we are creating this table, this table creation is not successful. Why? Why? Because we didn't selected any database. Even though we have a lot of databases here, it is, but no database is selected. So in order to do that, we need to use database, sorry, use demo name, sorry, use database name we need to provide. Okay, use followed by database name. So if you run this command, this database is going to be selected. Whatever the actions, whatever the queries you are going to execute, so those queries going to be executed under this database demo. For now, we have selected database demo. So these, whatever the tables, whatever the actions, whatever the queries we are going to execute, those going to be reflected in this particular demo database. Let's go ahead and create the database customers. So now see here, the query execution is successful. Okay, so let's refresh this. So see here, demo is get created and the table customers is created. This is the one way how we can create tables. Let's go ahead and insert some data. Okay, later in this class, I will show you different ways how can we create tables. Mm, Let me take this all the queries. So there are two ways to insert data into this particular tables. So if you see this insert into customers, the syntax would be insert into customers. The table name we need to provide and the columns. In the braces, we need to provide the columns. What are the column we have? So we need to provide those columns. We have person ID, last name, first name, address, and city. Okay, we have given the columns. And the values. In the values, we need to declare that we need to declare the values keyword.
Sharon, will drop delete the database or
Mhm. Sorry, can you
will
please come again?
drop delete the database?
Yeah, a drop will delete the database.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Coming back. So if you want to insert the data, so you need to use this command like insert into the table name we need to give we need to give, and to which column we need to insert, and this whatever the order you have given. For suppose whatever the order you have given in this columns declaration, column names declaration, in the same way the data should be entered. Why? Because if you mismatches those things, for suppose if the column is varchar, okay, if the column is varchar, it is not going to it is not going to consider those values, and by default if it is not going to be consider those values. For suppose we have declared personality as integer. If we have given characters, it will take, but it will not pop up any error, but it will show null value. Why? Because we didn't declare it as it is not null. A table constraint we didn't declare here, because so that by default the data type, I mean by default the column property would be null only. Okay, and whatever the order you have given here, the same order you need to provide. So let's see again, like insert into customers, column name, column name like person ID, last name, first name, and address, city, and values. In the values, we need to declare the values. What are the values we want to pass? So here I have passed one as a person ID, Tomby, edition, and Skajan, and Stavanger. These are the values that I have passed. Let's go and execute this. Insert into command. So it is executed. Okay, let's see. So see here, the data is entered into the particular database. Sorry, particular table. We'll go on and insert one more values. See here, we have entered one more value and it got entered. This how it is going to be. And next, so there is one more way. There is one more way to enter the insert the values. Okay, directly without hard coding the column names, we can directly pass the values and we can enter. So see here, insert into customers. Directly I'm giving values without hard coding the column names. Okay, so and I have passed the values, but remember that when you are passing this in this type of statement, the order should be the columns order should be same as when you are creating the table, whatever the order of columns you have given, right? The same order you should follow, and same data type you should follow, and you should not miss any columns. If you miss any column, if you miss, for suppose we have 5 columns, and if you given only four values, then it is going to be not executed, it will give one error like the length of the columns is not going to be, length of the columns are not matching. Okay, we'll see that as well. Insert into, for now, what I'm doing is insert into values and I'm passing the values. Three, how many columns we have? Total 5 columns we have, and I'm passing 5 values. So if I'm going to execute this, it is going to be executed. And let's go ahead and run the select star command. So see here, third value is good, third value is also executed. And don't forget guys, whenever you're passing these passing the values in this type of insert into statement, make sure that the order of the columns should be same. Okay, same as table, same as order of the columns in present in the table and the data types, and make sure that you are going to pass all the values. See here, as I explained, we need to pass all the values. The columns count does not match. I have given only intentionally I have given 4 values but not 5 values. So then it is going to be pop up an error saying that the column length is not matching. That is the reason I suggest you to go with this. So for example, if you want to, if you don't want to pass any value, so simply you can do this. Simply you can paste, simply you can pass one double quotes or single quotes. But I will recommend you that please use single quotes whenever you passing values. Why? Because, right? So in some particular databases, who is this? So in some particular, if you see in some particular databases, uh, we uh, we might use double quotes particularly only for column names, not for values. Okay, that's why I am suggesting you to practice only single quote for the values. For example, if you're passing any string values, okay, then use only single quotes for passing the values. If you're using, if you want to, uh, if you want to give some column names, I mean, if you are using some column names, then go ahead and use double quotes. Okay, if you don't want, okay, that is one way. And coming back, like we don't want to pass any value, so then go ahead and just give quotations. So then the value is going to be considered as a null value. Then it is going to be executed. See, the length is matching and it is get executed. And what we can do, so if you want to pass one value, this will be fine. If you want to pass more values, if you want to pass 3 values, 4 values, 5 values at in one insert statement, in one insert statement, how can we pass 4 or 5 values? So see here, insert into table name values we need to provide, and the list of values for the row followed by comma, and the list of next rows followed by comma, and list of next rows. Here I want to insert the data for 3 rows. This is the fourth value. This set of values considered will be fourth row. This set of values will be considered as a fifth row, and this set of values is going to be considered as a sixth row. This how we can insert multiple values and at one time. Let's go ahead and run this select statement. So if you see this fourth row, fourth and fifth is executed, and it got inserted into this particular table. Okay, that is one way. And one more thing, one more way, like if you want to pass, like there is one more case. For example, you want to pass only particular values, not all the values. Then how can we do that? So the same way, you need to follow the same way, like insert into customers. Here, you need to pass the column names, whatever the column names you want to insert. So those column names you need to pass, and values. I'm passing person ID, and the first name and the last name. I'm skipping. I'm skipping the city and the address, and the values I'm passing 7 Thomas Hardy. So if I executed this, it is get executed, and I will see. So see here, we have inserted the data, like first name and the last person ID, first name and the last name with the values 7 Thomas Hardy. So if you check this, we didn't pass any values like city and the address. By default, it will be null, right? By default, the default value is null. So it is considered as null values. We, we didn't pass any values, right? So it has to, it taken as null values. Any doubt till here? Any doubt? Any query? These are the different ways how can we insert the data. And let me go back. Now we have some data. Sorry. Now we have some data in this particular table, right? Mm-mm. We have some data in this particular table. We'll go and execute this thing. Okay. So we'll see one more thing. Where is that? Let's go ahead and create one backup table. So I'm creating customers backup table, like create table, customers backup, and the same column names I have created. I have given. So okay, so I'm going to create customers backup table. So this table will be the backup for this customers table. So I have created the table, but I don't want to insert manually like insert into. I don't want to hard code these values. Insert into customers person ID like this. I don't want to hard code. So I do mm, in customers table I do have all the data in the customers table, but I want to create a backup for this. I want to create a particular. Sorry, I want to create a backup for this customers table. Okay, so how can we create? So in this, while creating the customers table, we have passed only insert into on like this. We passed all the values and we hard coded the values and we execute those commands. But now, how can we by avoiding that? How can we insert the data at once? So we have created backup table. We don't have any data in this particular table. We want to insert the data, all the data which is present in this particular customers table. We want to insert that particular data into this customers backup table. So let's see how can we do that. So here's the command. So here what you need to do is insert into table name you need to pass, insert into customers backup, and after that in the values you need to pass select star from customers. So this select star from customers, what it will do, it will select the entire data present in this particular customers table, and by using this insert into command, this data is going to be inserted into customers backup table. Okay, we'll run this command and we'll see what is there in this. So see here in the customers table, customers backup table, we have successfully inserted the data by selecting the data from the customers table. This is one more way. This is one more way of inserting the data into the particular table from another table. Okay, this is what. This is what. Here, what we did is insert into customers backup, and we have passed the select star from customers. What if we want if we want to insert only first name, last name, and person ID? So how can we do that? So simply you need to do instead of star, you need to pass the the column names what you want to insert. First name, last name. mm, like this way you need to pass the values, pass the column names in the select statement. So if you pass like this, only these particular columns will be going to be inserted in this into this customers backup table. Column count does not match. Sorry. Let's create one more table. Sorry, actually the column length is not matching, right? So it is not taking those things. let me create separate table and person ID. Select person ID into insert into customer details. I have passed the customer table name and select the person ID last name. This is how we can pass. And previously we have we see insert into, if you see this, insert into customers backup and select person ID last name and the first name. So the this query we have passed, but if you run the query, this column count is not matched. This way will not work. Why? Because we are not passing the exact length of the columns which are present in this customers backup table. So in that case, what we can do is simply we can declare address as null and city as null. So if we declared, if we pass like this, the first, the person ID, last name and the first name is going to be selected, but what are the values uh, are there in this for this address and the city are going to be treated as null values. And now node data is going to be inserted into this particular columns like address and city. Node data is going to be inserted except person ID, last name and the first name. This is how we can insert the data. You must,
Address spelling.
yeah, sorry. Why it is taking? But it is so weird. Why it is taking this?
Once just try to execute it, brother. We'll see what will be the
No, it is giving this null is not valid at the position expecting some. It's give correct only.
Remove as null and insert as null only. Address null.
Oh, that is will be same only, but should not pop up like this. We'll show you that in the tomorrow's class. I don't know, like it should execute, but it is giving some syntax error. So not syntax, it is not taking this null value. Here is taking null value, but it is not taking here. So we'll check this later. Okay, but you got the intention right. The customer's backup in the select statement, if you have any, if you want if you want to pass intentionally some columns as null values, you can pass like this. address as null value and city as null value. Even though if you want to if you don't want to pass any values, you can use this method. As is not mandatory, you can use like this. Okay, this how we can insert the data if you want to pass that kind of tables. For suppose in the main table, sorry, in the child table, we have only two columns, the person ID and the last name. And if you want to insert only insert the values, like insert into, if you want to insert the values like only person ID and the last name, this how we can insert into select person ID and the last name. Why? Because if we pass a star, if we pass star, the customers table has 5 columns, but the child table has only 2 columns. Then it is going to be given and will give an error. So in order to avoid that, we need to pass the column names, person ID and the last name. This is how we can insert, we can create a table and we can insert the data. That is one way. And what if these are the two methods? We have created some dummy table and we have inserted the data. This is also, we have created one dummy table and we have inserted the data. What if like we don't have any dummy table? Okay, we don't have any dummy table. We want to create a table without passing without running the ddl command and without running the ddl command, and while table creation itself, the data should be inserted. How can we do that? So this is the and this is the syntax, guys. This is the syntax. Create table, and the table name we need to pass as, okay, as, and in the braces you need to pass select star from customers. So in this select statement, all the data from this customers table is going to be selected, and that data is going to be inserted into customers data table by creating customers data table. So now we don't have any customers data table. If we see, let me refresh. So see here, customers backup and customer data table only there, but we don't have customers data. If we run this query, it is going to create one more table. Sorry guys, it is executing some other query, not this query. So see here. So see here, customers data table is got created. If I run this command, what are the values which are present in this particular customers table? Those data is going to be reflected in this particular customers data table. This is how we can create uh, a table from the existing table. This one way. And if you want to restrict only restrict to this particular columns, you can restrict that as well. Let me copy this command. And here you can pass instead of star, you can pass person ID, and first name will take, and city. So if you run this command, sorry, the customers data will rename the column. Why? Because the card table is already existed, so it is not going to create one table, another table, okay, with the same name. Customers data duplicate we have created. And here you can see customers data duplicate, and in this customers data duplicate, if you see only the person ID, first name and the city is there. This is how we can create table from another table. Any doubts here? Are you guys able to follow me?
So
So can I continue class for 10 more minutes or 15 minutes? Do you have time? Else we
Sure.
can, yeah, okay. Why? Because we are lagging behind so many concepts we need to cover. Okay. We'll see alter tables. How can we alter the table structures or modify the table structures? Basically, alter command is used to alter the table structures or modify the table structures. So how can we do that? So in this class, we'll see how to alter the table structure, like how can we add new column to the table structure? How can we drop the existing column? And how can we change the data type of that particular column? How can we rename the column? How can we rename the table name? These 5 options we'll see, and we'll end up the call today. Mm, So first we'll see how can we add a new column. So we have customers table, and we don't have an email column, right? So if you want to add email column, how can we do that? So what you need to do is alter on the table, you need to pass the keyword table, and the table name you need to pass, then add. You want to add a new column, right? So you need to pass add command, sorry, add keyword, and whatever the column name you want, whatever the column you want to pass, that column name you need to pass, and the data type you need to declare. Okay, this is how it would be. Alter table, customers, add email, and the I want to create email column, so I'm passing the email name and varchar. So if you run this, it got executed, and we'll check the table structure. So it got added. By default, we didn't pass any values, right? So by default, it is considered as a null value. Why? Because when you are creating a particular table, the property default table constant it would be null value until unless if you are going to until unless you declared as not null, then it is going to be considered as a not null value. And if you didn't declare any not null table constant, by default it would be null only. Okay, this is how we can add. And now let's see how to drop the column. Okay, so if you want to drop column, so you need to do like this: alter the table, and table keyword you need to pass, and customers, the table name you need to pass. Here in the previous section, if we want to add a new column, we have passed the keyword add. If we want to drop a column, so we need to pass drop column. Okay, drop keyword and column. Specifically, we need to mention column and the column name. If I run this, it's going to be dropped, and we'll see. So see here, email column is not there. We have dropped that column. This is how we can drop the column. And what if we want to mm, not that, let's execute this and hello. Sorry guys, actually the power went off. Are you guys able to see my screen? Can you please, can someone please confirm?
No, sir, no.
Okay, let me reshare my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen?
I think there is a low network in your area, so that's why. I mean, though you are sharing the screen, it is not visible to us. We are seeing a blank screen. Apart from that, it is saying that Sri Satyasai Bhajana Mandali is sharing the screen, but we are unable to see it. We are able to see only a blank screen on our screens.
Yeah, okay. Oh, actually the power
Yeah,
went
now
off.
it's fine.
Yeah,
Now
okay.
it's fine. We're able to see our screen.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you for your confirmation. Like, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll rename. Sorry. So, what till now, what we have, we added new column and we drop the we drop the existing column from the table and we'll see how to rename the column. Okay, so here if you want to rename the column, you need to run like alter table, and the table name you need to pass rename. You need to you need to use the keyword rename, and you are renaming the column, right? So you need to specifically mention the column as a keyword. Okay, and the column name, what column you want to rename, the column, that column name you need to pass. I want to rename the column city, so I want to rename the column city to town. So how can I do that? So I want to rename the column. I want to rename the city column to town. Okay, this how. If we execute this, then the city is going to be renamed to the town. Let's go ahead and run the select star command. Okay, sorry guys. The query execution is successful and the column is got renamed with the name town. And let's go ahead and run the command. So see here, previously it was city, but now it got renamed to town. This is how we can rename the column. And what if we want to modify the data type? We want to modify the data. We want to
we don't want to rename the column. Okay, we don't want to rename the column, and we want to change the data type. How can we do that? For example, in previously when we created when we are creating a table, what is the data type of this particular city column is varchar, right? Let me go ahead and show you. So initially, while creating the table, we have given city as varchar, but now what I want to do is I want to rename the call. I want to modify the data type from varchar to character. So how can we do that? This is the command alter table and the customer, not customer, it is customers, alter table customers modify. We need to use the keyword modify, and we are modifying the column. Yeah, Krishna, yeah, what is there any doubt? Okay, we'll continue. So in the alter statement, alter table customers and modify, we want to modify the data type, right? So we need to pass the keyword modify, and the column we need to pass column name and the data type. So previously it was varchar. I want to make it as character, so I'm passing character. Okay, if I run this command, the table structure got modified and the data is modified. How can we ensure that? So I have one question here, like how can we check this? How can we check this, like whether it is modified or not? By running the select star command is going to be does it is going to be give the complete information for you guys about the data type. Select star command is going to give whether it's going to give data type information for you or not.
Yes.
No, right? Exactly. No, it is not going to give the information about the data type. The select star command, it will fetch the data from the table and it will show you. Okay, not it is not going to give the data type. What if? How can we see that? If we able to print the data, if we able to print the DDL, we can see, right? If we able to print the DDL, we can see, right? So how can we print the DDL? Please mute that. So how can we print the DDL? So show create table. This is the this is the query you need to you need to run. So it will print the DDL for you guys. So here show create table and the table name you need to pass. So create table, table name you need to pass. So whatever the table name we need, we have passed here. So that table DDL is going to be printed. So see here. So if we run this command, it is going to be created. It is going to give the DDL, enter DDL, whatever the DDL we have passed. So see here, customers and create table customers and person ID default null, last name varchar, and if we see town as character, we have given 100 characters length, right?
So sorry, we have given 100 characters length, right? So you can able to see town with the data type character and with the default length as 100 characters. This is how you can modify the table structure, and you can modify the data type. Finally, we'll see how can we rename the column. Sorry, how can we rename the table name itself? So in order to rename the table, you need to use this command alt table, and the table name you need to pass. Okay, rename. You want to rename. Previously, we used rename to rename the column, but here we want to rename the table's name itself. So we don't need to declare any column column keyword here. Simply you need to pass to keyword. Why? Because we want to rename this table to some other name, right? So simply you need to pass to keyword and the new name, whatever the new name you want to pass, that name you need to pass here. I want to rename the customers table to customer. Okay, I'm going ahead and running this command. So the query execution is successful. We'll go ahead and check. So if you run this select star from customers, it will go, it will give you, sorry guys, it will give like, it will give an error like customers table does not exist. Why? Because we have renamed the column customers to the customer. So the table got renamed, and it is showing that the table does not exist. If you go ahead and run this select star from customer command, so it will give all the data. These are the 5 ways how you can rename the how you can alter the table structure. Or let's recap what we have discussed in today's class. First, we created databases, and we dropped the database, and we listed the database, and we managed the database. And then we created a table, and we inserted the data. There, inserting with by hard coding the column names, by passing the values, and by passing the multiple values, and by passing the restricted values, restricted columns, by passing the restricted column names and with the values, and creating dummy table, inserted the data, and created with the limited rows, created a dummy table with limited rows and inserted the data, and created a table, created a dummy table, sorry, created a new table from the existing table by selecting all the, with some dummy table, sorry, with selected number of rows, we created one more table from the existing table. And alter in the and in the alter command, we added new column. We deleted the existing column from the table. We renamed the column. We modified the data type of that particular column, and we renamed the table name itself. These are the topics we have covered. Tomorrow we'll see uh, delete, update, and drop, truncate. These 5 commands we'll see, and we'll move forward. And today I will give some short assignment to you guys. I will post that in the WhatsApp group. Please go ahead and practice those. I mean, work on that assignment. Okay. Until unless you are practicing, you are not going to be familiar with all these concepts. while listening to these concepts, you may get like you may not you may feel like it is easy and it you may feel it is easy and we can do like that. But while practicing, it not be so. Please practice so that you can become familiar with these concepts and your basics will be strong. Yeah, that's it for today, guys. Any doubts?
Brother,
If
tomorrow being a Saturday, will we be having a regular class or a discussion session?
tomorrow there will be both, bro. There will be both 7:30 to 8:30. Um, theoretical, practical session, and from 9 to 10 there will be dot clearing session.
Okay, brother, thank you.
Okay. Any doubts? And I just want to ask you. I just want to take 5 more minutes for you from you guys. Sorry for taking this much time. And just want to know feedback from you guys, like how the classes are going and how are you feeling something, and you want to do you want to improve something as a coordinator of this entire session. I just want to take this feedback from you.